Okay.
So what is this? Episode 2 or 3?
Two. We're gonna delete
Okay.
one of those, I
Okay.
think.
All right.
So for those who got to see both of the first episodes,
It was a behind the scenes bonus
Yeah.
for being an early adopter.
exactly. But yeah, so all right. So here we are again, Vitruvian Gentlemen. We're gonna today we decided to talk about fashion, and it's more like fashion, I guess, full gamut of it, which means first and foremost for me it's fashion versus apparel.
So what does that mean to you? Fashion versus apparel.
So you either have basic clothing that you would need to just cover
Be
your
dressed
body.
and present yourself to society without
Yeah,
showing
cover your
bits.
body. It's like the bare essentials.
Okay. All right.
Without any embellishment, without any twists,
Okay.
which is where fashion comes in.
Yeah. Okay.
Which fashion is kind of an early like if you look at the history of fashion, it's kind of a probably. I mean, I guess Beau Brummel was the first one to take an ordinary object like an ascot or whatever the hell they wore, the scarves that they wore, and then he would stand there in front of his mirror and manipulate it for
Okay.
hours
Yeah.
to style
As
it.
I was doing with my knot this morning.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's, I guess, I think we could probably chalk it up to that's when it started. Like that image of Beau Brummel standing there. The
Well,
story
who
goes.
is he? I'm a layman. I don't know who he is.
He was he's kind of considered the first dandy.
Oh, okay.
So English,
Yeah.
not so English, English. And he was basically like an ordinary man.
Okay.
Versus back then, if you were even considered any kind of a fashion plate.
So he was not nobility.
No nobility.
He was.
He wasn't
plebe.
even plebe. He was common folk.
He was a commoner, but he wanted some panache.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and somehow managed to get himself seen. I guess when they did those boulevard strolls, anyone can do that.
Yeah.
And you would, I mean, probably even the King of England would do it once in a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, he got
Well, hold on. This boulevard stroll, it sounds pretty interesting to me. What is it?
Well, people would show off their finery.
So it's going for a stroll for the purpose of
Be seen.
being seen.
Being
Okay,
seen
yeah.
and showing off
Yeah.
your latest.
Okay, cool.
There's a. So let me finish with Beau Brummel. So
Yeah.
the biggest thing about him was that the King of England eventually was so fascinated with him that he
Yeah.
would come to his humble little apartment, like a walk up.
Really?
Yes. And they would spend hours talking about fashion.
Yeah.
In this little apartment where the king lived a mile away
Right.
in a mansion with like thousands of rooms.
It sounds like they might have been doing more than talking about fashion.
We'll never know, I
We'll
suppose.
never know. Yeah.
Oh wow, we have a big B in here. Anyway, so a couple of things from Beau Brummel that I loved, that I took away when I read about him is he always, even though he was a commoner, he did have a man,
Yeah.
which means he had a person who took care of his house, took
Yeah.
care of his clothes.
Okay.
Top hat, when you have a fur, like I think that's
Oh.
that might be a beaver hat, and it has little hairs. It needed to be brushed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would collect dust. I mean,
Right.
they probably kept them in boxes the way they're supposed to.
Right.
So,
Right.
but he would polish his shoes, I would imagine, iron his shirts,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So one of the things that he said, which I loved, is he could never wear his clothes straight from the tailor.
Yeah.
He had to have his man wear them for about 2 weeks and break them in
Yeah.
before he would put them on
Interesting.
so that they look worn in.
Right.
He didn't want to appear
New.
new.
Out of the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted, I mean, there's that term, old money look,
Right.
where people wear, I think what it refers to is um, that class of people bought the kind of clothes that lasted forever.
Right.
And they expected them to last forever. And they would wear their clothes until they were like threadbare.
Yeah.
But they looked amazing because it was such great fabric that it would wear beautifully.
Yeah.
So it looked really good.
Right.
And over the years, I actually like that. I look for that kind of stuff, little scuffs on your shoes. You know, some people would bring these shoes to the shoemaker and have them wipe them out so they
Yeah.
look like they just came out of the shop.
Yeah.
Not me. I love the worn out bits. Same with, I mean, with our cars, it's a little different. Would you want our cars to be shiny?
Right. But
Our trucks.
But we're not. Even though we want our cars to be shiny and clean, I don't think we want modern cars that just came off the lot. Right.
Well, no. Well, it's what I'm talking about is the patina.
Right.
Because you can have a classic car where you know they get it painted and it looks like it just came out of a showroom.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of the patina. Maybe not on all, like on RSLs. It's
Yeah.
probably nice to have it like more pimped out.
Right.
But the trucks.
I know what you're talking about. I think it's when you have a little patina, it shows that you've been in the clothes and you didn't just go out and get it off the rack to achieve a look, but it's kind of integrated into your life and it's like a second skin.
Integrated into your life. This
Yeah.
is not a you didn't just pop in the shop, buy it, put it on. This is a piece that you have acquired to keep for a while.
Well, that's the whole point of having his man wear it for, a few weeks, right? Is it doesn't look like it just came out of the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is the reason for that? Does he want it? I think he probably wanted it to look lived in, not because so the two things are you want it to look lived in, looks like you bought these clothes and it's intentionally gonna be kept for a while,
Right.
or is it did he? God, I already forgot my second point of that. Would be, I don't even know. I already forgot what I was gonna say about what would
It'll
be the.
come back later.
All right, so the Boulevard strolling, you wanted to get into that.
Yeah.
I think what the first thing we should get right off out on the table is apparel versus fashion.
Okay, let's go.
So, yeah, apparel is clothes. No, let's go back to Savile Row. Savile Row, there are houses on Savile Row, all houses on Savile Row are known for a certain cut of suit.
Right.
They've been making the same suit for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
There's no trends there. You go to that house to get that cut.
Yeah.
Same thing with Neapolitan tailoring. They're not following, they're not going to all of a sudden. I mean, yes, there's innovation in fabric.
Yeah.
Yes, you if you have a dandy customer and he's like, "Oh, I want you to like do something with the pattern of the fabric." Instead of like matching my patch pockets to the rest of the jacket, put it on the bias.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't, that kind of little stuff.
Right.
But as far as the cut, there's no in the 80s we had the big shoulders.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there are a few houses now that are developed, like Edward Sexton really comes to mind. I think they have a very distinctive look. But yeah, with the other houses, maybe not so much. Um, that might change though. I think they might have developed their own in-house looks again.
Do you mean like one particular one, or do you think they
Yeah.
have the array
Um,
following trends? Are they following trends, or are they're like, here's the 5 jackets that we make. You can have a peak lapel, you can have a
yeah.
notch lapel, you
Hmm.
can have double breasted, you can have single breasted. You want a tuxedo with a shawl collar, we can make that.
Right.
But that's
Hmm.
it. They're not gonna all of a sudden give you big shoulders,
Right.
or
Right.
give you a longer jacket that's like longer than the standard.
Well, so yeah, when you were talking about that, Edward Sexton came to mind the most because they have nice, generous lapels and then very structured shoulders, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
he's kind of developed his favorite. He kind of is a designer.
hmm,
You know, he took a little bit from this era, the big lapels from
right.
like I would say what the 70s. Um, but he was part of a kind of a revolution, wasn't he?
Well, I think maybe why the Edward Sexton House has such a style is because he came from a rebellious kind of rock background, where the other Savile Row tailors really catered to more traditional
The
business and
bankers.
nobility, and um, they had a little less wiggle room. Um, yeah.
He was part. I think Edward Sexton was part of. Um, oh my God! I just read his biography too.
Hmm.
His partner. It was two of them.
Nutter.
Yes.
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh, what was his first name?
Harry Nutter. Was it Harry Nutter?
No, but Nutter.
Hmm.
He catered to the rock and roll crowd.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody went there.
Hmm.
Uh, I know like Brian Ferry. The Beatles even tried to do their own house to kind of like copy that thing.
Yeah.
Didn't work out for them. So fashion versus regular apparel.
Apparel. Hmm.
So fashion is utilitarian clothes, even though it doesn't mean it's like, oh, it's coal miners overcoat and
Yeah.
jeans. It means bankers clothing
Hmm.
fall into that category too, because especially very old stodgy law firms, they don't want anyone walking in there with skin tight suits.
Right.
They have a tradition to keep up. Brooks Brothers is like their bread and butter is like these
The sack
big,
suit.
big boxy suits.
Right.
The sack suit.
Yeah.
Um, so fashion versus so yeah, so there's those two, and then you have the fashion, and then fashion. I mean that's the fashion designer with their little quirks. Yeah, probably around the turn of the century, last century, started the fashion designer started to come into his own. Before that, it was just anonymous tailors making clothes for you.
Hmm.
You would be the catalyst of designing, making little tweaks to your clothes.
With
But
the
then,
input that you give your tailor.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then slowly but surely, you had designers who emerged to dictate what is
Mm.
the trend of the moment.
Yeah.
And I wonder because it coincided with the Industrial Revolution.
I was just thinking that because I think back then, before mass production, you had a relationship with whoever was making your clothing. So, like my grandfather, my mom's dad, he had his clothes made by a person in like the traditional Tang wear, um, but
What is that?
like traditional Chinese clothing.
Okay.
Yeah. So he knew his tailor, but with the rise of designers came with industrialization, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, they needed, yeah, I guess they wanted, I guess it's a consolidation of manufacturing,
Right.
right? So that you don't have all these, nowadays we have a smoke shop on every, literally on this block right here, there's
Right.
two smoke shops.
Yeah.
Um, Back in the day, I would imagine there were like two tailoring shops on every block because everybody had to get their clothes made by a tailor.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was a consolidation. It was like a capitalist
Mm-hmm.
um, um, tool to get all the all the manufacturing into one place. I mean, I guess that's what capitalism at the end is, right? They eventually what they want is they want to just
Scale.
scale. Yeah, they
Right.
want to just do the bulk of it,
Right.
sell it, and sell it to the masses. And what does that give us? Homogenization.
Right. Yeah.
So then everybody looks the same, which antithesis to a gentleman's.
Yeah. It feels to me like consumers are presented with options of different looks from this cultural lookbook, and then you choose from among those options which one do you fit into.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you basically are yeah, so it's a limited palette,
Right.
but not only that, it limits your imagination.
Yeah.
You no longer have to think for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can just
Yeah, there's this image. You don't spend as much time online as I do, but there's this image circulating about how how these girls dress so alike now. So it was a picture of a bunch of girls standing on a corner, and they all have um, jean pants, loose jean pants, with a white tank top. 10 different girls wearing the same exact outfit.
insane.
Yeah.
I have seen it'll be usually it's like a pair of women or young women and they are wearing the same outfit. And I look at it and I'm like, they're obviously that they're walking, they're friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that on purpose?
Right.
Why would you want to look exactly like your friend?
Yeah. That's interesting to me because they must be comfortable doing that. And I'm not criticizing it, but I would, as a guy, if I were going out for drinks with a group of friends, and we were all dressed in the same exact outfit, I would feel weird about it. I would feel like I need to change something about next time I go out.
Yeah, otherwise, what we look? I mean, we actually, you and I go out, we
Yeah.
actually do.
We contrast quite a bit.
I know that I've called you and was like, "What
Yeah.
are you wearing?"
Yeah.
I don't want to be like
Well,
in the
yeah.
same.
And then oftentimes I'll give you a heads up like, hey, I'm rocking the cowboy hat tonight.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not telling you what to wear either.
Not
but
at all.
You just play off of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't because we do have some looks that will look similar.
overlap, yeah.
And yeah, that's the last thing that we want.
Yeah.
So what is that? Well, let's now because if we're gonna start exploring that, the psychology of the consumer of clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an episode onto itself.
I find it really interesting.
Well, so then let's close one chapter of not chapter, but at least chapter. So clothing, we've laid out what clothing, apparel versus fashion. So fashion, the fashion designers are basically people who are going to dictate to the consumer what it is that's cool, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
is what is of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas clothing is not of the moment. Apparel.
Right.
You're just buying apparel I mean, if you're buying, when I buy clothes, apparel, we
Right.
call it that, I am looking, one of the aspects of that I'm looking for is longevity.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to last I don't want it to be like what to me. It's laughable when people buy those jeans that have been pre-holed for them.
Right. Right.
It's like,
True. Well, that's part of that's among the options out of the lookbook that the market presents them with. Do you want to go for this worn-in jeans look? Who are you? Like, express your uniqueness among these options
through
that
our
we
options
right
that we
through the
we
options
have
that we're
given you.
presenting with you.
And it
Yeah.
also, like, this worn out gene thing, it automatically tells, whenever, if we're going to think about capitalism, it's, they've worn them for you already.
Right.
They're already,
Pre-worn.
they've shortened its lifespan
Right.
by 3 years
Right.
before you even, and you're still buying, and you're paying premium price for jeans that are supposed to last,
Right.
arguably could last for 10 years if you take care of them.
So I think it's worth mentioning that there is like some pushback against this as well. With like, there are subreddits called like "Buy It for Life," but like the whole denim craze that guys went through about 10 years ago was about these hard wearing jeans, that denim that you would
Oh, you wouldn't
develop
wash.
the patina. Yeah, like John, he was really into that, right?
Yeah.
He still is. Yeah, that you never wash. Well, that went to like one extreme too.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Not washing your jeans. I was thinking, speaking of not washing jeans, I thought we can have a little segment in our podcast of pet peeves.
Yeah.
And one of my pet peeves is people who don't wash their jeans.
Yeah.
Some of them are, they either put them in a freezer to like sort of neutralize the filth. But at the end of the day, you can't, the filth is in there no matter what.
The oils.
The oils, it's like, it's just funky and not appealing.
Yeah.
And, if that's your vibe, if you're after that sort of like skater punk, borderline homeless look, then sure, fine. But I think APC at one point, and I don't know whether they were serious or not, I think they were actually laughing or tongue-in-cheek about it. But their care instruction on their jeans was, put them on and go in smoke for a swim in the ocean.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can wash their jeans.
I remember that.
And I think they were having a piss, but which is great. But so the fashion designers basically came in as part of the capitalist amalgamation of stuff, and so this way also, capitalist machines need a turnover.
Yeah.
You can't have a guy go to his tailor, buy 3 suits that he's
and
not
wear them for the rest of his life.
more or less,
Yeah.
unless his size changes.
Right.
So they can't have that. So they would go through, we're just coming out of the skinny jean craze.
Right.
And of course, it's right now all the cool kids are wearing
The really baggy.
the crazy baggy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is all just a tool of the machine to get you to buy new clothes. So being an aware consumer, some people probably don't even realize this.
Yeah.
That they're being guided and herded through all of this.
So I think since we talked about fashion and apparel, we should also talk about style.
Yeah, so
There's a book I read called Permanent Style, and so they described it as fashion is something that changes from year to year, or 2 to 3 year cycles and over again. But this idea of developing your own sense of style, it's evergreen.
yeah,
That it goes beyond seasons.
yeah. You're not following the machine. You're living your personal life.
Right. Right.
It's indifferent to you what is or what isn't trendy right now.
Right. Um, so I think it is a psychological shift because instead of choosing from the options that you are presented with, you're kind of pursuing your own vision of what you're inspired by and seeing what on the market or what you can find fits that vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of the vision of
The 10 looks that are
magazines and
presented
the
for
design.
you every
Right.
season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I mean, that to me is a very Vitruvian gentleman pursuit.
Yeah.
That's if you want to put in a nutshell how a gentleman should approach the art of dressing himself, herself.
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah. What I find interesting about it is you're making the shift from being a passive consumer to being an active consumer. But you have your own ideas,
Look,
right?
there shouldn't be any guilt attached to buying clothes.
Hmm.
We're at the end of the day, we need to clothe ourselves
Yeah.
until we get to that utopian world where, you know, we're
We
not
could all be
ashamed of our
nudists.
bodies.
Yeah. Hmm.
And also, there are no winters
Yeah.
where you are.
Right.
But yeah, there's no. I think we have to buy clothes, and you have to. It's choices that you have to make, and you vote with your dollar. Every time you spend, I probably said this before, but it's every time you buy something, you're voting for that thing to be brought back,
Right.
and or at least that concept.
Hmm.
If you're gonna buy trendy clothes, designers are gonna have a job,
Yeah.
and and I'm not knocking it. There are brilliant designers out there. Of course, like all the classics. I mean, they had something going.
Yeah.
Even the designers that I'm not like crazy about their vision, you have to admire them for their just just the sheer like look at Karl Lagerfeld. He would like produce like 5 lines every season or something. It's
Yeah.
insane to think that what the man can keep all these balls juggling.
Yeah.
Because he was like at the top of the game. Every it's all down from there. He was the catalyst of all the high styles, from Chanel to whoever else he designed for. Um,
But you know what I find really interesting about those designers is they have the the full gamut of what they put out on the runway, which is like all these different wild visions. But when you see them dressing themselves, it's like their own personal look is something that they refined over the course of a lifetime, and then they just stick with it.
yeah, yeah. I think if you think about the designers, they're always wearing a uniform.
Yeah.
It's not, they're not, it's especially since you're in the rag trade, you just don't want to think about it. When you wake up in the morning after you've taken a shower, when you look at your closet, you don't want to start thinking about oh, let me look up what is the cool silhouette today.
I think that is actually what attracts me more, or what I'm attracted to more, is not so much the fashions, but the looks that because it's like, it's like a piece of coal that they have been working on over the course of a lifetime that has turned into a diamond. You know, it's by the time you're seeing it, it's already been refined so much. Like Ralph Lauren, I really love his looks.
Yeah.
They look um, worn in. There's this interview floating online about how he got this worn in shirt from Kohl's or TJ Maxx or something.
And he refused to throw it away.
Yeah, yeah. Like the collars are fraying and everything.
I have a pair of shorts in the other room.
Yeah.
That my favorite shorts, and I can't find that pattern of fabric. Of course, I can probably, recreate it.
Yeah.
but it's very sad when it starts to go threadbare and
Yeah. Yeah.
you have to part. I just had to get rid of all my sharkskin suits because my size has changed to the point where I don't think I'll ever go back to those sizes.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's like
It's too bad.
30 years of collecting just went into the thrift stores out in New York. So if you guys are watching this,
Well, why don't you mention the thrift shops that you go to, or do you not want to?
um,
In case people want to salvage your suits.
oh, well, my wife has a she likes to go to Beacons still, which baffles me because it's gotten so really bad over the years. I remember when they first started, and I guess the people were more interesting in Williamsburg, so they donated clothing that was much more interesting. But nowadays, it's all kind of like um, homogenized. Um, my buddy Julian owns a Italian suit um, place, vintage Italian suit place on Grand. I'm gonna make you guys look it up. I do know the name of it, but I'm not gonna even mention it. But it's on Grand in Williamsburg, and it's an Italian suit place. So that's good. We've been talking about going to London.
Yeah.
There's a great place in London. uh, I mean, we should really meet the man and interview him for our podcast
Yeah.
when we go there. Don't know his name, but he is, oh my God, the knowledge in that man's head,
Yeah.
unbelievable. And he talks about all of the things that we are seeing disappear, the really incredible fabrics. If people think that we're getting, because industry is moving, it doesn't mean it's moving, it's constantly improving itself. What industry is doing nowadays, and there are pockets of, where they're trying to like make washable wool.
Right.
I think they finally invented washable wool,
Yeah.
and there's some of it circling around to like some houses in Italy. But generally speaking, the industry is not interested in making long lasting fabrics.
Right. I think you were about to touch on an idea like it's not like everything is in a constant state of improvement, that it in fact is cyclical, and that
I think it's a
you think
degradation.
it's a descent. Yeah.
It's a descent.
Right. Yeah.
I see all the stuff that comes in to my shop, and
Yeah.
on a rare occasion, of course, the high-end designers still have, thank God, the fabric that they use is really phenomenal, and the workmanship is great.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, um, it's a downturn. The fabrics are terrible. The craftsmanship is terrible. They're constantly trying to find ways to make things cheaper. It's the end. We're at the end of the capitalist cycle. It's like I think we touched on it in the first episode, when first capitalism reared its beautiful head. I liked early versions of capitalism.
Yeah.
We had like America probably had like 150, 250
Right. I
car
think
companies.
it was more entrepreneurial. There were a lot of players, but then over time, capitalism will pick winners, and then they consolidate.
Exactly
Yeah.
what we just talked
Right.
about before with the designers.
Yeah.
They want to make the big three
Right.
so that the money is concentrated in one place.
Yeah.
And that's always the end goal for them. And innovation goes out the window. When you have a big company like that, there's a bureaucracy that thwarts design, unique design ideas. You're not going to get through. If you look at the history of auto manufacturing in America, the Mavericks that put in place cars like the 57 Caddy with those fins, not the 57, the 59 Caddy,
Yeah.
those ostentatious fins.
Right.
You had to have like some balls and some sway
Yeah.
with the company owners to get that car into production.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you look outside, unless you look at the badge of the car, you don't know whether
It's
it's a
hard to tell them apart.
Jaguar or a Kia. You know, cars back then had a signature look.
Yeah.
You know, when you knew a Mercedes, you look at the silhouette, even if it's in the dark.
Right.
You knew it's a Mercedes, BMW. You know, they all had their thing. So capitalism. So we're at the tail end of capitalism. They're just like trying to find, you know, the cheapest way out, and us as a consumer, we have to do something with that. And one of the ways is you vote with your dollar. You go and you don't buy the cheap stuff.
Yeah.
And you go and you find the stuff that's quality, and you give your money to the people who made that, because you're going to perpetuate that to come back. And you're going to have a beautiful thing in your closet.
I do notice, even with my new suits, even custom suits, the fabric seems flimsier. Not that I was ever around for when they were thick, but from what I read and then from looking at old pictures, you know, the older suits did seem more substantial. And I wonder if it can even be found in the marketplace now. You might have to make suits out of what they sell as coat material in order to get that same sort of thickness.
Yeah, it's the thickness. It's not just the weight of the fabric. It's also, you can have a very light like gabardine, but it'll be really, the weave will be such a quality that it'll just last longer.
Yeah.
You know, it's thread per count. You know, they chins on it.
Yeah.
For them, for a company that makes 1,000 suits a week or whatever, every batch that they make, it's probably like on the cutting table. There's probably like 5,000 suits when they cut them. So when they can save on the like a penny on each square inch of the fabric, it does add up for them, and they look for this stuff. There's actual people whose job is to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To find places to cut corners like that.
I just, I've been into shorts and pants with pleats lately. And so I saw a pair of shorts on Bonobos, which is like, they got their start making custom suits. They were like one of the online custom suits pioneers after
Suit
Suit Supply maybe. Yeah, but I noticed the fabric is very different from what I made when I was in Taiwan. So I have those those pants, the Gurkha trousers.
Yeah.
So even though it was the same look, it was it almost felt like stonewashed. So the beautiful thing about pleats is it adds structure. You know, you see lines in it and everything. But then it was so soft, it felt like it defeated the point of having Gurkha shorts.
So they retained an old design that was designed for a different fabric. So
Yeah.
it's like, so the design and the fabric, it was probably chosen by two different people. These
Could be.
companies are so big.
Right. It hit the accounting department. Now it's like, if you still want to get that look, you got the shorts, but now you need to starch them and iron them in order to get the structure back into it.
Oh, man. I mean, it's like that in all different spheres.
Yeah,
too.
I'm sure if I went to a higher price point, I wouldn't be dealing with that issue. I was going away for a weekend, so I just needed a pair of shorts.
Yeah, well, this is the kind of stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Buying like that kind of spur of the moment stuff, and it's a lot of work to approach this issue thoughtfully.
Yeah.
And let's face it, they got us running around on a wheel where we're, especially in this town, with what the rents are like.
Right.
People don't have enough time to think about what I would consider an important issue, but for some people, they have to like relegate what is important to them and what isn't,
Right.
because they have only so much capacity in their mind to devote to issues, and because we're so busy, some things go by the wayside, and
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
some people, it's the clothing. Judging by what I see outside,
Yeah.
it goes by the wayside.
I'm feeling that now for sure. I used to be able to spend hours on eBay or whatever hunting for, something that I could buy and then bring to you to have fixed again. But I don't have the time to do that anymore.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, wow, this fly is going to be a guest on our fashion blog. All right, so what else can we talk about as far as style? You wanted to touch on style. I think it's important for us to talk about how to develop, what it takes to develop your personal style.
Hmm.
So, for me, I think you actually have to care.
Yeah. Attention. I think that's the key is paying attention. I think that it starts with paying attention to how different styles or images or articles of clothing make you feel. I think that's what gets you started on that road.
So, because you know what? Let's do this. There's about 3 or 4 categories
Mhm.
of people when it comes to clothing.
Okay.
So there's the person um, for whom it's just a nuisance, and they just want to put something on.
They
So
need apparel.
they need apparel,
Yeah.
the most basic, no thought given.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you have the dandy,
Hmm.
who gives way too much attention
Well,
to.
they structure their life around it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would call that the dandy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have the gray area
Hmm.
in between. So when you're faced with, if you're ever gonna give, if you're one of the person who is just an apparelist,
Hmm.
then you can stop watching this episode, because you don't care. But for people who go beyond that, um, um, let's I guess the only way we can talk about it is how we developed our
Hmm.
our personal styles.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is you have to care. And the first thing that I cared about, there's a lot of things that you have to care about.
Hmm.
There's the quality.
Hmm.
There's
But I think there's something even before that.
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Because some people will see something and won't even bat an eye. It won't even leave an imprint on them. Um, and other people, it will leave an imprint. They'll remember a silhouette and or how it affected them, but it's a sensitivity. Even before they get into colors or the texture of a fabric or whatever, I think there's a receptivity, a sensitivity that people have
To
to
what?
have to beauty.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're talking
And
about
now
just
I don't think that could be taught. I think you either are or are not. But I guess the case that I would make to people who are watching this is that even if you don't think you have style or have fashion, I believe if you tuned into that side of yourself, it is something that you could develop.
so you think everyone does have, even the people who are apparelists.
Well, it's like some people have a sharper sense of sound than others. There's a reason why some people become musicians
Mm,
and some people don't.
I see.
So I'm not saying that everyone can become a Beethoven or a
A
great rock
A
star.
Bo Brummel
Yeah, or a Mick
or
Jagger.
or a Karl Lagerfeld.
Right. But I think I would give yourself more credit than you have been giving yourself, and recognize that you have the potential to approach it.
Okay. So I will add to that as a an incentive for people who are apparelists to take the next step into the realm of actually caring. Um, and of course, it just goes out my window the minute I describe what I want to say. But, well, it's knowing. Uh, I don't even know. I don't even know how to um, describe that that thing that that makes you move into the realm where you care about what you look like. Um,
I think for I think for a lot of guys, it starts as wanting to be desirable in the sexual marketplace.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same for women, I'm sure.
right. Yeah. So I mean that's a legitimate motivation.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not the right one. I think you should dress for yourself
Yeah.
first and foremost, and it'll automatically. Because if you're dressing, if you're trying to guess which woman are you trying to dress for?
Yeah.
Are you trying to dress for the woman who's looking for, a guy on a motorcycle, a badass,
Yeah.
or does she want a banker, provider, millions of dollars in the bank account kind of guy?
Yeah.
So it's like now you're chasing these two things, and none of them, neither one of them might be your personality. So you're like, so that's not, but yes, that is, I think that is the first and foremost reason for people
Yeah.
to get dressed. They want to make themselves attractive, even to their friends. They just
Yeah.
want, especially now, they want the pictures. They want their friends to like their pictures. They've lost the beautiful deep part of it is the self exploration.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, you don't necessarily have to jump in with both feet and all of a sudden be a fashion plate. You can start slowly, but just think about where, just think about some fashion icons. For me,
Yeah.
how it started is when you're growing up, and you don't even know this unless you have like some people who are smart and gonna tell you this, but when you're growing up, you're basically laying down the foundation for who you're gonna be. You're building your persona. When you're a teenager, you're just this kid running around, and then eventually you have to make up your mind. You're gonna have to make decisions as you grow up. Who are you?
Yeah.
And are you gonna get it dictated to you by someone else? Or are you gonna take the reins and you're gonna take the road that you are the guide on?
Yeah.
And
Do you have a rudder on your ship?
yeah, yeah. It's so important it's gotta be personal.
Yeah.
It has to be, the reward is not the likes of your friends. If you're dressing for someone else, you're on the wrong track.
Right.
You gotta dress for yourself, and along the way you will develop. There are many styles that I used to like, and I abandoned them.
Yeah.
Because they no longer fit, either as you get older, your body changes, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which incidentally, the body types, this is like very important stuff. You know, don't put on clothing that do not make your body type appealing.
Right.
I see short people wearing, because the baggy thing is in now,
Right. It's not flattering for them.
and they put on these baggy pants, these baggy jackets, and this big bag, and you look at it, and it's like, oh my God, it looks like a scarecrow in a storm. It's just like they just
Yeah.
get lost in there.
Especially, the other thing I can think of is when skinny jeans were really in, and big guys would try to fit
Oh
into
my
skinny
God,
jeans.
that's
And
hilarious.
so it looks like your legs are sausages encasing.
Yeah.
But the original look of that was rock stars wearing their model girlfriend's jeans,
Oh, I didn't realize
after a
that.
night of partying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you
The
gotta be
reverse of the boyfriend gene.
right. It's a reverse, yeah. So you gotta be like heroin thin in order to pull off that look.
Yeah.
And I had some friends that sadly completely misunderstood that, but it was what everyone was wearing, so they got pushed in that
And
direction.
there we go again. It's
Yeah.
what everybody's doing,
Yeah.
and you're not traveling on your own road. So what if anyone is gonna if people are gonna take anything away from this is fashion done right,
Hmm.
fashion done right is called style, personal style.
I still prefer this. If I could be described by somebody, I would be um, much more not impressed, flattered if somebody said I had a sense of style over a sense of fashion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, fashion, you're just chasing trends, um, and some trends might look good on you and some might not.
Right.
But if you're going to be chasing them, and no matter what the trend is, you're wearing it, you're a fashion victim.
Yeah.
That's what a fashion victim is when
Right.
you have fallen into that trap. Um, there's a couple of other names in there. There's the fashion victim. There's the hot mess.
Hmm.
The hot mess is when you take every trend
And
that you see on the page,
and then you combine it into
you
one look.
throw it all together,
Right. Yeah.
and you're like, oh my God, here I am, and you look at it, you're like, dude,
Yeah.
hot mess. Um, so yeah, so fashion done right is personal style,
Yeah.
and you can't get away from. There's no other way to do it. Okay, you can. It's personal style, which means you have to look inside yourself and ask yourself, who am I? What kind of a person? Because we all create our own personas, and clothing is the first thing. It's your calling card.
Yeah, so I think that's another reason outside of um, elevating your place in the sexual marketplace to care about the way that you look. It's because a picture is worth 1,000 words, and so this is something that you say about yourself without ever opening your mouth.
Yeah, yeah. The first time you meet someone, let's say even on that, opposite sex attractions or
Yeah.
same
Or
sex
same
attractions.
sex.
Um, I have to mention that nowadays.
Yes.
And it's the first thing
Yeah.
that people see, and they're not attracted to your wonderful wit or your sense of humor or your wide scope of interests. They are attracted to how you put yourself together.
Yeah.
Um, Personal style. I had a thought again, and of course it's just escaped my head. But yeah. So it's personal style is what you want. You got to figure out who you are, and slowly. Oh, creating your own persona. Who do you want to be? Who are your heroes?
Yeah.
Pick your heroes. Is your hero a Kim Kardashian? Or is your hero I don't know, who would be a great icon, like a Greta Garbo or someone?
Can you name some of your inspirations?
I think I've said this before. One of my early inspirations were I no longer need them, thank God. Now I'm because eventually when you're on this road,
You could take off the crutches.
yeah, the crutches are gone, and
The
now
training wheels.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm now on a road where I have enough of a persona or
Yeah.
enough, if you want to call it confidence, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, confidence to pull off your creative vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like it's knowing who you are to the point where there's when if you ever have that dilemma when you put something on and you're like, do I like this?
Yeah.
I don't have a question. I don't have questions like that. I put it on, and if either works or it doesn't work.
Yeah.
There's no like, I mean, once in a while, maybe it's like, does this hat, should I put the hat on or should I not put the hat on? But it's generally speaking, once you get to a certain point, you don't need the icons to inspire you. But my icons were always, I guess I don't remember who they were when I was growing up. The earliest icons I remember were the black guys in Harlem sitting on those stoops, wearing like um, skinny suits, like the shark skin. That's where all my shark skin obsession came from.
Okay.
I got that. Well, that and the Rat Pack.
Yeah.
So those guys were my inspiration. Um, there's a movement in Africa. I forgot the country.
Oh. Um, they were they were soldiers that were returning from France, and they picked up the dandy culture in France. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, I didn't realize that's the how it.
Yeah, but the dandies from Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sapeurs, I think they're
Yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah.
I forgot what the country is.
Well, it's got to be a French colony, a former French colony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have a book on them here, but
Yeah.
you guys can look it up if you're interested. It's these guys are living in squalor,
Yeah.
but when they get dressed, they look like they just came out of like the most fashionable Parisian boutique.
So on the spectrum of apparel to dandy, they're way on the dandy end.
Oh, they're dandies.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
full on dandies.
Right. So that to me is too far. That is, I would want to be somewhere on the right end, meaning towards the dandy, but I think it needs to be part of a complete life. So the image of a dandy living in squalor to me shows it's putting the cart before the horse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But they don't have the means to have the full thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I would say,
but they still want that. And that part of the whole lifestyle is the most important thing to them.
but yeah, so to me, it's putting the cart before the horse because, well, I wonder what kind of jobs they have, whether they, let's step into it, whether they are employed. Because maybe in addition to being a dandy, you should also be some sort of infrastructure planner because the rest of your society should reflect. Your society should look as if it would naturally produce someone that looked like you.
That is a great point. But in their case, it's a French colony.
Right.
It's a colony.
Yeah, they have dirt roads.
It's.
They're having to step over mud puddles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You see pictures.
Yeah, I have.
I think Solange made a video. One of her early videos was well, she had this whole. She went there and filmed filmed amongst them. I see what you're saying completely, but I admire them for their tenacity
Okay.
and their
Their defiance.
their defiance,
Yeah.
despite.
Yeah.
Um, yes, I think it's a little. Um, how would I say? It's out of place. Yes, it is. But when you have it in your blood,
Yeah.
when you need that thing, and you
Yeah.
and I both have it in our blood. We're
What?
not, even though we're not dandies fully. Some people would look at us and probably say
And
we
think
are.
that we are. Yeah.
But but when you have this desire, this goes back to creating your personality,
Yeah.
because we all create our personality ourselves, by the choices that we make, and it's clothing is a big part of it. And they're creating, even though there's squalor outside their door,
Right.
they're creating a different reality for themselves.
It's like a diamond in the rough. It's a shining piece of whatever they're
When you
living
said they should be creating infrastructure, they kind of are.
in. Yeah.
They're kind of giving the kids, the next generation, a beacon.
Yeah.
And
Well,
hopefully,
this is approaching another topic that I'm interested in that might be a little spicy, which is, but I think we could frame it in terms of substance versus style, right? And I believe that they should always be at parity. That substance and style goes hand in hand. And
well, for me, style always has to have substance.
yeah,
You can't have style without substance, because then it's fashion.
right.
If it's style without substance, then it's fashion.
Yeah.
So it has to have style develops out of a personal journey that's arduous, that develops character.
Yes.
Because if you're going to take a road less traveled, actually traveled by only one person, you are, this is a very strong character building endeavor. So you're gonna make decisions that are gonna be against the grain of the society.
Yeah.
You're not gonna pander to whatever is presented to you. You're gonna go. So that automatically builds character. So look at what it can do. Look at something as frivolous as clothing, what it can do. It can help you build a strong character.
Right.
And if you go really deep and you start looking at how your clothing are made, and you ardently decide you're not gonna buy clothing that is made in scrupulous conditions, whether it's the fabric that destroys little villages in Sri Lanka, or whether it's sweatshops all over China that have nets on the windows so people who jump out
Foxconn
to
right.
commit suicide,
Yeah.
they catch them and probably punish them severely,
Yeah.
and then put them back to work. I mean, there's towns, sprawling towns. This used to be when capitalism, we romanticized early capitalism before, but when if we take early capitalism's, the big industrial version, the coal miners, the oil miners, those towns that were set up around the coal mines were owned by the company. Company towns. And whenever they decided to organize, the biggest company, Pinkerton, still around, this company, would come in and shoot up the whole tent town.
Yeah, union busting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would just drive their cars and machine gun through all the tents. People actually dug holes in their tents for this occasion.
To avoid it.
Yeah.
Trenches.
Yeah.
Trenches inside
They would just jump in the hole and try to save their lives.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was not. It wasn't all. It wasn't all innovation and friendly competition.
Well, back then there was, even though they had higher quality fabrics and everything, also they were a lot more uniform back then.
Individuality was not praised.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at photos back then of, the workers coming out of them, it's not like one of them was wearing a cap with a feather in it.
Yeah.
It was they all bought from the same place pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, they did. They did. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say we've come a long way where you and I can sit here and talk about individuality and
Right.
our own, taking our own path in clothing. Something as silly as that, apparel, and we're talking here, elevating it to this level of, developing your character through clothes or, um, uh, yeah, there's some good and some bad in all parts of it. Um, all right, where are we in this episode? What else do we need to? Oh, another pet peeve.
Yes.
Um, Overbearing amount of perfume.
Oh.
Oh my God! I was walking here
Mm-hmm.
this morning, and I'm walking behind this man,
Yeah.
and I'm walking like a serious distance, like I don't know, like not half a block, a quarter of a block away from him,
Yeah.
and I'm smelling his perfume.
Yeah.
And can you imagine what that smells like if he's in a small room like this?
You, um, some people, and this can be said about clothing as well, but some people want to punch you in your face with their perfume or their cologne.
Yeah.
And some people want to do that with the same thing with clothing. It's like I want it to jump out and for you to see it.
So that's your personality.
Yeah,
So
yeah. There's
so
nothing subtle about it.
We may be starting some terrible trends here.
Well, so my take on it is I like style that kind of draws you in. It doesn't you won't see me from a block away.
Yeah.
But as you approach me, it's something
You'll
that
notice.
draws right. You'll notice, and it draws your. So I like that a little more. Same with cologne. I don't want you to smell me from across the room.
No.
But all of a sudden we're engaged in conversation, and then you pick it up.
Yeah.
So it's revealed over time. I find that a lot more interesting.
Well, to me, the alluring thing with perfume is you only smell it if you're almost intimate with the person.
Yeah.
Like if you were wearing something that I can smell
Yeah.
readily, if I got little wafts of it here and there,
Yeah.
could be tolerable.
Right.
But if it only reveals itself when we're like,
When you're on the other side of the room and you smell it, you don't need to approach the person in order to get more of the scent.
I don't want
right?
to approach
right?
that person.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's also, again, going back to this idea of drawing in, it's like, well, if you really enjoy the scent, you have to be standing close to me in order to smell it.
Yeah. I remember someone I really admired talking about that when she left the room, her scent still lingered in the room. She was still there, kind of.
Oh, she
and
liked that.
And I always wondered, do I like that, or is that? I mean, if it's like lingers for a moment, maybe.
My pushback to that would be, no, I would want to smell it on an article of clothing that you left behind.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
that's the next
Right.
next step.
But not in the room. You got to put on a lot to leave it in the room.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
And
the
also-
Japanese people feel the same way about this. Of course, there are other cultures who take the opposite view, but Japanese people feel, it should be subtle.
How do the Japanese feel about perfume? I don't think of the Japanese. I mean, modern, like modern Koreans, let's say.
Yeah.
They're all about whatever fashion. So
They're
that
very
comes
fashionable.
Yeah, so that comes with perfume as a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see them like dousing themselves. But
Yeah.
the Japanese, they're fashionable, but the whole we're gonna throw a blanket over a whole nation.
Right.
They're like, they adhere to some of these principles that we talked about.
Yeah.
Very,
Mm-hmm.
even the most like novice
Yeah.
fashion, like the person who's just starting or just like or not hasn't even not developed any fashion sense,
Yeah.
style sense. There's something about the Japanese that there's
I think they also appreciate subtlety.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not over the head. They don't want to knock you over the head with anything.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's just as a people,
Yeah.
they're just subtle people.
Right. Yeah. There's an idea. I mean, in Taoism, there's an idea too. It's like, you don't want to eat to the point where you just can't eat anymore. You want to eat to the point where you're like satisfied and you just leave a little sense of appetite intact. Right? So you're playing between the boundaries. You're not swinging one way or the other.
So this is great. This is great that we it's so subtlety
Yeah.
is a very major part of it, isn't it?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
didn't even think I didn't even think of this at all. But it's about even if your style, even if you're allowed, let's say you're like a Gianni Versace wearing
Yeah.
person.
I would compare it to, I hear some producers talk about how new music lacks layers. How music before, you used to be able to hear a track over and over again, and it reveals something more over time as you listen to it more and more. I think that's what subtlety means, is that it's not hitting you over the head and screaming, hey, look at this, look at that, but it's leaving room for discovery.
So this is an interesting dilemma because if a person really feels like this is their personal style, because there are people out there who I mean, I used to be one of them. I used to be like a loud dandy.
Yeah.
I would wear some crazy colors mixed together, hopefully tastefully. Not always, There's always like it's all about knowing the rules and knowing if you
When to
know the
break them.
rules, then you can cleverly break them.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the rules and you're breaking them, you can see that you don't even know the rules that you're breaking. So it's not fun.
Yeah.
Because it's more fun if you know and you're purposely doing it. Then it's like, okay, he's having a piss with his clothes.
Right.
But if you don't know, then it's just like, you're not.
You're breaking too many rules at a time for it to be artful.
Oh my God! So there is so where does that fit in? If you're like a loud person, and that is your style,
Yeah.
it's
Well, that's just your
it's
style.
legit.
Yeah, it's legit. Yeah. I think, but I appreciate the subtlety because I think that's just more my personality.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be, well, never say never, but the loudest person in the room,
Yeah,
right? But I think I'm really good in a one-on-one conversation.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, to
So
me,
I think my style reflects that.
yeah. The loudest person in the room usually is the, you don't want to hear what they have to say anyway. If they're
Yeah, or maybe just in doses. Yeah.
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 So does the person with a loud style get admitted into the Vitruvian Gentlemen Club?
I think everyone's welcome. This is, in the end, like we said, we're not dictating anything.
Yeah, you're right. We're not. Yeah, I certainly don't ever want to be in a place where we're like, it's this way or the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about developing your personal style. It's just not to our taste.
Right.
The over-the-topness of things.
Yeah. But like you said, I mean, in your own example, you were saying you used to go for that, and then over time you pulled it in.
Yeah.
So there's a dance that happens across time as well.
Yeah.
Right. So I would be happy to have those people be a part of this conversation because it is a conversation that is taking over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be interesting for us to hear other people opinions that are not of the same mindset as us.
Right. Yeah.
So it's always so yeah.
Hmm.
It's okay. Uh, so that's a good point. Anything else we need to touch on?
Um, did you still want to talk about tattoos?
Oh, embellishments.
Yeah.
So we have like jewelry.
Yeah.
Um, we did touch on perfume, jewelry, and then tattoos. Um, tattoos. Neither one of us has them,
No.
and that's probably part of our subtle personality,
Yeah.
about our subtle style.
I I think I'm a bit of a traditionalist, and I'm kind of orthodox. So I feel like if I were to get a tattoo, I would want to understand the history of tattoos. A lot of sailors and pirates. That's where a lot of the culture came from.
At least
They,
according to Hollywood.
according to Hollywood, maybe right. There are many indigenous
That's
cultures around
right.
the world that have
The
tattoos.
Maori.
Yeah,
It's like
the Maori. Um, I don't come from any of those cultures.
right.
I'm also not a pirate or a sailor.
That's right.
Um, and they needed it because that's something that they could carry with them without having to carry it.
Um, probably I mean, why would you get an anchor on your? It's a tag that you belong to a particular sect.
I don't know. I don't know that deep.
Well,
Yeah.
I would imagine. So tattoos. Why would you get it? So the Maori, obviously, it's a
Cultural.
it's decorative.
I think it's more than decorative. They probably get tattooed at different points in their lives to indicate initiation into adulthood.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's so it's still so it's statusy. It's status.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
Status. A demarcation of status.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it's also decorative. It's like, it's not, they could just say, you're 5 years old now,
Right.
but they do it in a beautiful
Well,
pattern.
I'm sure there's symbolism involved. Um, but also, to me, tattoos also express a type of rebellion and saying, I am not a part of society, or that's at least where it came from. You know, the bikers and the
The
outlaws,
jail tattoo.
jail tattoos, yeah. So to me, it's like, well, you see so many tattoos now that it's kind of undermining that context. And so now it's approaching more of a fashion. And you could still say it's self expression, and I'll give it that. But I think that's my reluctance towards getting a tattoo, even though I've daydreamed at times of, what tattoo would I get if I got one.
Let's talk about that.
I I've always loved the water buffalo as an animal. So I would want to get a water buffalo on my back.
That's on your back, a
Yeah.
big ass tattoo like this on your back?
Well, I haven't hashed and rehashed this idea, but that's my initial instinct is I would want to get a water buffalo. Well, the water buffalo also has a lot of significance in I'm Taiwanese culture
What
because
is it?
well, it's the cornerstone of agriculture. So
Okay.
it's kind of the cornerstone of society in a way.
Okay.
And it symbolizes this capable and strong, but also gentle animal. And I love the the tension of the opposites in there.
So you would get a tattoo that will.
I'm also the year of the ox. I was born in the year of the ox.
Okay.
So
So what we would qualify that tattoo as a it's like it's your It's a memory. It's like getting a tattoo of your mom on your arm.
Yeah, kind of.
It's that kind of.
Kind of.
It's
It
in that. It's in that like.
it still feels kind of frivolous to me, and I think that's why I wouldn't want to do it because it is a lifetime, right? And so how I feel about it today could be different from how I feel
No,
about it
we
tomorrow.
understand. Hopefully, everyone who's about to get a tattoo understands that it's.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, you can get it. You can remove it with a lot of pain and
But that defeats the
suffering.
whole point of a tattoo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's permanency. Come
Right,
on.
yeah.
If you're committed,
Right.
commit to
That
it.
is truly fashion. If you go with that approach, oh, I could always remove
Yes,
it at
yes.
a later date.
And tattoo as a object is not. It's a permanent. It's even more.
Yeah, I think that's part of the symbolism of it, right?
I guess it's a commitment. You're making a
Right.
commitment, and if it's a
Right. That's
commitment,
why people get tattooed rings.
Yeah.
You know.
and it's a commitment to the thing that the army guys getting tattoos of their regiment or something, or
Yeah.
um. So your tattoo will have meaning to you if you were to get one.
I
Off the top of your head.
I think that it's true of everyone.
My tattoo.
Okay. Yeah.
Purely decorative.
Okay.
I would get a tattoo that divides my body in half.
Yeah.
Through my whole body.
Uh-huh.
I would have to shave my head.
Oh,
get
front
this.
and back?
Yeah, the front and the back.
Okay, so not this way.
Not that way. No. This way.
Yeah.
So that means.
What do you get? Eyes
down here
tattooed
and
on the
every-
back of your head?
No. It's just dividing my body in
Okay.
half.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would get. To me, that's kind of like if I were to use tattoo as a means of expression,
Right.
that's my version of
So
it.
what does that mean to you?
It's decorative.
Yeah.
Tattoos are decorative.
Yeah.
And it's like a fun kind of like, yeah, it's like, I think part of it, the fun factor in fashion and apparel and what we're talking about here, when we get, when we think about dressing ourselves, yes, we take it seriously, but I think the fun factor has to be there.
Yeah.
If you're not having, if it doesn't give you joy, and if it doesn't give you satisfaction, to me, the satisfaction that I get out of it nowadays is that I have arrived at this place where it's like everything is in place. My personality matches my clothing. My life matches my clothing.
Yeah.
Everything is one piece, and it's all in there. I think my personality is pretty much all
Yeah.
done, and I'm there, and now I can just say, but people have to remember that it is your creation of you're creating your own reality.
Yeah.
It's pretty deep. It's not just clothing, because if you just use clothing to create a facade and it's fashion, that's one thing. But if you use clothing as one aspect of the rest of your life, if it all matches,
Right.
you can't,
That they're not compartmentalized. Is that what you're trying to get at?
maybe, yeah. It's not, it's like one is not divorced. You can't be like, oh, I'm punk rock, but I work for a huge corporation
Right.
that, destroys all of the,
Yeah.
it's like, which is it? You
Yeah.
got it. Otherwise, it's none. You're a non-making sense human.
Right.
Your two things do not.
You're not. It's not integrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of like so it is deep because your clothing will reflect your inner convictions about
Right.
the big
It's the surface layer that you present to society, but it emanates from something deeper. You
yeah,
know. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
right, so there's that. Jewelry, we have to touch on jewelry because we're doing a fashion segment. So
Right.
not a fan for men of jewelry. I like men. The way I envision the ideal male is it's an action person. He's always ready to rescue his damsel in distress. So jewelry to
Can
me,
get in the way of it.
yeah, jewelry will stand in the way of that.
Yeah.
I would rather have my damsel
Wear all the jewelry.
wear all the jewelry
Yeah.
and swimming in jewelry.
Yeah.
But me,
Yeah.
I'd rather have like my jewelry in my jacket.
Yeah.
the,
The pocket watch.
no, no, I'm talking about
Oh.
things that protect
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
from
Your tools.
your tools,
Yeah.
your gentlemanly tools
Yeah.
to protect
Yeah.
your the people that you're with.
I could appreciate that.
So yeah, so I think we're on the same page. You obviously
Yeah.
don't have. I only have this because you know
You're married.
I'm married, and this does symbolize my. Every time I look at it, I think of my wife, and it puts a smile on my face that I found someone
Yeah.
that I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with,
That's great.
for better or for worse. But it's mostly it's for
Mostly
better.
for the better.
It is.
Yeah.
It's she's a wonderful, wonderful person. Um, so that I mean, we can talk about hats, but it's all like this is all personal stuff.
Yeah.
You'll explore your personal. What else? I feel like we're kind of. Is there anything else that you can think of that we need to add to this? Because we're pretty much at the tail end here.
Yeah, I think we could explore more in future episodes, but I think this covers our philosophy. I mean, we covered apparel, fashion, style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could talk about history of fashion, but it's like you can look that up.
Yeah, there are other channels that do a much better job of it.
Yeah, we're but history. Speaking of history, actually, we can end on this subject. History, as always, if you don't know history, you're gonna repeat the mistakes of history. So this is another reason. This is another facet of how something as silly as clothing, or as serious as clothing, can introduce you to such a deeper part of the human chain of existence. History of clothing.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So it's really, if anyone is interested in getting from just being an apparelist and moving their bar a little bit closer to the other side, just look at the history of clothing. Just get a book. There's some great books out there. As a matter of fact, I have some. I mean, this one is great. I just pulled the wrong one. This is a great one.
Oh, we could put it here. It might not be in focus over there.
Oh, I see.
Oh, Rebel Threads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, a good starting point, but there's a myriad of great books. If you guys are interested in some of the books that I have in my library, let me know, and I'll list like the top 10 that I think everyone should read if they're interested in a historical look at fashion and at apparel, because the apparel side of things is very interesting throughout history. All the functional clothing, the army stuff,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
workwear,
Yeah.
um, it's fascinating stuff. All right. On that note, we did want to have the um, what was the other segment? We had the pet peeves, but
Oh, pet peeves. Yeah.
but we kind of covered a couple.
Mm-hmm.
But there was something do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts. Go for it. You have one on off the top of your head.
I don't have do's and don'ts, do's and don'ts, do's and don'ts. Well, this is part of the pet peeve, the do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
The bicycle shorts.
Not a fan.
Please don't wear the bicycle shorts unless you're riding a bicycle. It's just not. No one looks good in them. Unless you're not even riding a bicycle. If you're in a race where aerodynamics are going to cut 2 seconds off your race, is the only applicable time to wear bicycle shorts.
Well, how do you feel about like the b-boy era, which is when that came into fashion, where people wearing it outside of.
I mean, you
bicycling,
had like,
yeah.
we also had the hair,
Yeah.
the hair metal bands wearing spandex, men wearing spandex.
Right.
Not a fan.
Still not a fan.
Still not a fan. I mean, David Lee Roth can probably pull it off. There's probably a couple of people can pull it off back in the day, but they're on stage, people.
Yeah.
Do you want to walk around looking like you're just escaped like a Mexican wrestling match? Just stop it.
I think I could appreciate it more on the street if it completed a look, but if it were just a Lululemon outfit.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you're trying to pull off like a Madonna from the 80s thing,
Right. Yeah.
sure, go for it.
Yeah.
But if you're just walking down the street, I've seen people get bicycle shorts, get in the train
Yeah.
with their bag.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where are you going? You're going into the train. Do you know what goes on in the trains? And you're wearing that whatever that is. It's like a little sausage casing for your legs and your body where you can see everything. It's like too much information. It's like you guys can like hate on me for saying this. I have a friend who loves it because it's too much information.
Right.
And it's like, I guess everybody has their own take on it, but that is one of my don'ts right now.
Okay.
You got a don't?
Mine is more anodyne. It's more of just a tip. It would be to remember to cut the threads on your vents.
On the vents on the jackets.
On the jackets, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The vents are the two little slits or the one little slit on the back of your jacket.
Yeah.
When you buy it, it's usually tacked together by a tack, like a little thread, hand stitched. So yeah, those are supposed to be cut.
Yeah,
So
and the little tag on the sleeve that shows where your fabric is made, that can come off too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't leave it. Unless you're one of those fashion people that...
Is that a thing, like leaving the tag on the baseball cap?
It could be. It's tacky as hell.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea behind like the beautiful coats and everything is quiet luxury, right?
Yeah.
So it's not supposed to be about the labels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, if you know that that's the rule and you're going to break it by leaving it there,
Right.
then it's cool.
Yeah.
But if...
As long as you know you're breaking the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else we can think of? These we're gonna have to write these down.
Okay.
So by the way, if you guys don't, as you can see, this is a mere conversation. Godwin and I, the only thing we plan as far as what we're gonna say is the topic. So this, you just watched a conversation with two people. Nothing has been, there's no script here. Mm-hmm. We just had a lovely little conversation. I hope you can have the same type of conversation with your friends about the topics we discussed, and it'll make the world a better place. Yeah. Thanks for watching. This is the Vitruvian Gentlemen. My name is Arthur.
Godwin,
Till next time.
great. I'm late for my lunch.
Go do your thing.
Yeah.